The Aam Aadmi Party Member of Parliament Sanjay Singh has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate after a day-long round of questioning. Now, the ED claims that they have recovered material evidence basis the statements of Dinesh Arora, who is one of the main accused in the Liquorgate scandal, who has implicated Sanjay Singh and who has now turned approver, and his statements have been recorded under 164 CRPC. The Aam Aadmi Party, as well as other opposition parties of the India Alliance, say that this is pure vendetta politics by the BJP for taking on the Modi Sarkar. The question is this a genuine probe that is independent of political pressures? Mind you, Sanjay Singh has not been named as one of the accused in either of the two charge sheets that have been filed by the Enforcement Directorate, but his name has been taken in multiple occasions as per the statements recorded by the accused turned approver Dinesh Arora. So are there political pressures that has led to the arrest of Sanjay Singh today, or is this something that has been politically vindictive action that is being taken by the Modi government only to develop cracks within the India Alliance? Before we get to our debate, and we have a full panel tonight here on Brass Tacks, but first, the story of what was a very, very dramatic day starting from 6 a.m. in the morning until 6 p.m. in the evening when Sanjay Singh's arrest was formally recorded.
Today, Sanjay Singh's arrest shows that Bharatiya Janata Party is desperate. They have decided they are going to silence anyone, arrest anyone who opposes them.
मुझे लग रहा है कि भाजपा माइंडसेट खो चुकी है, उनको डर दिख रहा है 24 के हार का, इंडिया की जीत।
हम कट्टर ईमानदार हैं, इसी वजह से ये सारी समस्याएं आ रही हैं। इन लोगों ने यही, इनकी सबसे बड़ी दुखती रग यही है कि ये सर से लेके पैर तक भ्रष्टाचारी हैं और इन लोगों से हमारी ईमानदारी का काउंटर नहीं है इनके पास। इन्होंने हमें बदनाम करने की खूब कोशिश की। कभी कहते हैं कि केजरीवाल ने बसों में पैसे खा लिए, कभी कहते हैं केजरीवाल बिजली में पैसे खा गया, कभी कहते हैं केजरीवाल पानी में पैसे खा गया, कभी कहते हैं केजरीवाल ने स्कूल बनवाने में पैसे खा लिए, कभी कहते हैं केजरीवाल सड़क बनवाने में पैसे खा गया। इन्होंने इतनी सारी, मेरे को 8 साल हुए मुख्यमंत्री बने, 8 साल में इन्होंने मेरे 7 जन्म छान मारे, लेकिन इनको कुछ नहीं मिला, कोई भ्रष्टाचार नहीं मिला, कोई गलत काम नहीं मिला। अब पिछले 1 साल से इन्होंने नया राग अलापना चालू किया है, शराब घोटाला, शराब घोटाला, शराब घोटाला। इस शराब घोटाले के ऊपर इन्होंने 1000 से ज्यादा रेड मार चुके हैं, पता नहीं कितने लोगों को गिरफ्तार कर चुके हैं। कहते हैं 100 करोड़ रुपए का शराब घोटाला है, लेकिन इनको इतनी रेड मारने के बाद भी चवन्नी भी नहीं मिली इन लोगों को, एक भी पैसा नहीं मिला, कहीं कोई पैसा नहीं मिला, ना कोई जमीन के कागजात मिले, ना कोई जेवरात मिले, ना कोई गहने मिले, ना कोई पैसा मिला, कैश मिला, कुछ नहीं मिला इनको 1 साल के अंदर।
All right, the Delhi Chief Minister there saying that this is a sign of the BJP's nervousness and that they have recovered nothing in the multiple scams that the Aam Aadmi Party government and its various functionaries are accused in. Let me now go across and get you a sense of what is it that the ED is saying is its case against Sanjay Singh. Now, the ED heat on Sanjay Singh basically arises from the accused turned approver Dinesh Arora and the statement that he has recorded. He has said in that statement that he met Kejriwal in the year 2021 and that Sanjay Singh was present when he met the Delhi Chief Minister. This is the first contention he's made. He connected with Manish Sisodia also via Sanjay Singh. Again, this is from Dinesh Arora, who is an accused in this case, who's now subsequently turned an approver. He met Sanjay Singh at a restaurant in Delhi called Unplugged Courtyard. During that meeting, he claims in his statement that Sanjay Singh requested him to speak to the owners of that restaurant. Subsequently, after speaking to the owners, Mr. Arora is claiming that he was asked to arrange, and he did arrange, checks worth 82 lakhs from the restaurant owners. He then goes on to say that these checks were subsequently handed over to Manish Sisodia. The Aam Aadmi Party leaders at that time were collecting funds for the Delhi and the Punjab elections, and that he also says he met Arvind Kejriwal at his residence, Mr. Kejriwal's residence, along with Sanjay Singh. But just moments before his arrest, Sanjay Singh recorded a message saying that he's being arrested for raising a voice against the central government and its policies. Listen into what he had to say, and then I'll come back in just 1 second.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार के भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ, अडानी के महाघोटाले के खिलाफ लगातार मैं बोलता रहा हूं, अपनी आवाज उठाता हूं। ईडी में कई शिकायतें की अडानी के खिलाफ की, उनके घोटाले के खिलाफ की, उस पर कभी कोई कार्रवाई करो। और आज अचानक ईडी मेरे घर पे पहुंच जाए, दिन भर छापेमारी की, सारी जांच की, सब कुछ खोल डाला, कुछ नहीं निकला। बावजूद इसके जबरन मेरी गिरफ्तारी की जा रही है। लेकिन हम लोग आम आदमी पार्टी के सिपाही हैं। मोदी जी से कहना चाहते हैं, मोदी जी आप चुनाव हार रहे हैं, बुरी तरीके से हार रहे हैं, और ये आपकी हताशा का संकेत है, ये आपकी हार का संकेत है। ये उदाहरण है इस बात का कि एक कायर, एक डरपोक प्रधानमंत्री किस तरीके से जुर्म करके, तानाशाही करके, लोगों को जेल में डाल के चुनाव जीतना चाहता है।
But just before I go to our debate and our panelists tonight, I want to bring to your attention a significant judgment that came out from the Supreme Court just yesterday. This was in a separate money laundering case also involving the Enforcement Directorate. The Supreme Court, in fact, pulled up the ED and said there were very serious questions that were being raised on its working style. Number one, the Supreme Court said that the Enforcement Directorate cannot come across as vindictive, going after people that it wants to go after or the government wants to go after. It has said, and this is a significant part of this judgment, that reasons, sound grounds for arrest have to be conveyed in writing to the accused before he or she is arrested. The court also said that you have to function in a transparent and fair manner, that the ED is not following consistent practices. Sometimes it goes ahead with coercive action, sometimes it does not. And this is again a very important part of that judgment. Mere non-cooperation by people who are being questioned is not grounds enough for an arrest. Now, this is a judgment that came out just yesterday, and just in the last 24 hours, we have seen raids at the NewsClick premises and journalists associated with the NewsClick, and today the Enforcement Directorate has raided Sanjay Singh. The opposition is claiming that this is vendetta politics. The BJP is saying allow the law enforcement agencies to do their job. Now, which of these two is it? Let me now go across to our full panel that's joining us. Shehzad Poonawala is national spokesperson of the BJP. Abhinandita Mathur is spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Priyanka Chaturvedi is Rajya Sabha member of Parliament of the Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray faction. Aman Lekhi is senior advocate with the Supreme Court. Shehzad Poonawala, there were two charge sheets that were filed by the Enforcement Directorate about 4 months apart. In neither of those two charge sheets is Mr. Sanjay Singh named as an accused. Dinesh Arora, who was named as one of the prime accused in this case, 6 months later after questioning, and this is the claim of the Aam Aadmi Party, under duress, he was made an approver. And basis this approver statements where he has said he has met Sanjay Singh on a couple of occasions, this raid and arrest has happened. If the Enforcement Directorate, and this is the Aam Aadmi Party's allegation against you and the charge against you, if the Enforcement Directorate does indeed have solid grounds against Mr. Sanjay Singh, why not name him as one of the accused in the charge sheet?
Thank you, Zaka. Zaka, first of all, it is not us who have turned Mr. Dinesh Arora as the approver. The court has accepted and has allowed him to become the approver in this case. And if it was under duress, the court would not have allowed that. And consequently, after him turning into an approver, on the basis of the information provided, any enforcement or any law enforcement agency can proceed with the information and evidence they have recovered or got from that particular person and make other further inquiries into an ongoing case. The larger question is that if there was no proof, as the Aam Aadmi Party claims, and the standard operating procedure is, kuch nahi mila, झुंझुना भी नहीं मिला, झुंझुना नहीं मिल रहा है, why is Manish Sisodia in jail for the last 7 months, and in fact the CBI CBI court has said that 100 crore money trail was established, which was passed on to the leaders of the Aam Aadmi party. I'm reading from the CBI court order of March 2023. It goes on to say that thus it can be said that the applicant is prima facie held to be the architect of the said criminal conspiracy. This is from the court. It has gone in great detail to explain how the commissions were passed on to Aam Aadmi party leaders. Apart from that, Vijay Nair is in jail for even longer period. The FIR was registered in August 2022. There was always a procedure that they can go and get the FIR quashed if there's absolutely no benefit. There's no locus standi in this case. And forget everything else. The Congress party. Congress has no love lost for us. The Congress party has been at the forefront. Today, I don't know why they are not on the panel. I don't think they are on your panel. I can't see them. Maybe they have chosen out of convenience to be quiet. But all their top leaders have said that this is a case of absolute corruption. And by the way, on the ED too, do you know how hypocritical this Aam Aadmi party is? Here is the Aam Aadmi party doing a press conference in Chhattisgarh.
You've given me a lot of arguments. You've not given me any argument or any evidence of what the ED has against Sanjay Singh. Do you have any material against Sanjay Singh?
Let me answer that.
If you do, then please convey that to our viewers.
Let me take that question also in 10 seconds. By the way, Zaka, because the ED has till now just arrested him and has produced him, I think they're going for a medical. So the ED will come up with what exactly they have on Sanjay Singh, but based on the reports that your channel has done, it is evident, 2 or 3 facts are very evident. One, that Dinesh Arora, from the other charge sheets that the ED has filed, was somebody who was acquainted to Manish Sisodia through Sanjay Singh. And Sanjay Singh's own aides have been involved in this entire scam. That has also come out through many of the charge sheets which have been accepted by courts, and the courts have not rejected these claims. Now, what further information the ED has got after interrogating Sanjay Singh or interrogating or coming up with a statement of Dinesh Arora, I can't tell you, the agency will. But just one line. The ED, if it was not credible, here is the Aam Aadmi party doing a press conference in Chhattisgarh saying that the ED that has uncovered a scam of liquor in Chhattisgarh should go ahead and arrest Bhupesh Baghel. How is their standard मेरे ऊपर गुनहगार और दूसरों के ऊपर करे तो चमत्कार? How does their standard change?
So let me go to one second. You've had a lot to say. Let me go across to the other guest, Priyanka Chaturvedi. You know, Shehzad and the BJP have a point in as much as the entire case against Sanjay Singh has been based on this approver statement, which was recorded, by the way, before a magistrate under 164 CRPC. And I'm just quoting some of the salient points from Dinesh Arora, accused turned approver. I met Kejriwal in 2021. Sanjay Singh was present in that meeting. I was connected with Manish Sisodia via Sanjay Singh. We met at a restaurant in Delhi. Sanjay Singh requested me to speak with the owners. I arranged checks worth 82 lakh rupees from the restaurant owners. Those checks were then subsequently handed over to Manish Sisodia. If Mr. Sanjay Singh was the so-called conduit between Dinesh Arora, accused turned approver in the Liquorgate scandal, and this between Manish Sisodia and Dinesh Arora, then why should Sanjay Singh not be picked up and questioned, which is what the ED has done today?
So, just a simple point I'd like to make. As far as the evidence that you are saying, whatever statement has been recorded in front of the magistrate, staying put at a meeting where Mr. Arora is meeting the Chief Minister, since when has this become a crime? When has it become a crime to meet Manish Sisodia in the company of Sanjay Singh? Since when has it become a crime to ask a restaurant owner to speak to Mr. Arora? And how did you lead to a conclusion that there is a money trail involved when he asked Mr. Sanjay Singh got them to collect 82 lakh worth of checks? So these are all circumstantial evidence. And let me just take you back to 1 year ago, when Mr. Sanjay Raut was arrested under the PMLA by the Enforcement Directorate. And let me prove to you how Enforcement Directorate has become just a tool in the hand of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And I'm surprised, he was mentioning, the BJP spokesperson was saying that I don't see a Congress spokesperson here. And in fact, I am also surprised that I don't see any of their ally spokespersons here, but a former BJP spokesperson who's now come as a former advocate Supreme Court. They do not have, the only allies they depend on is ED, CBI and IT. I'll just go on to say what the Mumbai High Court had to say on that particular arrest. The bail order said, simply labeling pure civil disputes with money laundering or in economic offence itself cannot automatically acquire such status and ultimately drag an innocent person in a miserable situation in the guise of an arrest. The court has to do what is right irrespective of who is before it. So this is the level that they have fallen to. There is a fourfold increase since 2014 in ED investigation against the opposition. 95% of the cases that are being investigated are against the opposition. My simple question to the BJP, and I don't want to even get into the whataboutery. 48 hours prior to Mr. Ajit Pawar joining the BJP alliance, the Prime Minister had gone on record to say that he is involved in a scam worth 70,000 crores. What happened to that scam? We would want to know what was the outcome of that investigation.
But
Mr. Praful Patel
was
being investigated by ED.
The,
let me go to Pratap Sarnayak.
Yeah.
Let me go to Narayan Rane. Let me go to several other names that have got a clean sheet evidence.
Yeah,
so this is not whataboutery. It is clear vendetta for those people who speak against the government of the day.
No, you can cite any number of examples.
The voice of Sanjay Raoji in Maharashtra.
But what
we saw what the ED had to face.
But ma'am, what about the examples of Manish Sisodia and Satyendra Jain? Manish Sisodia has been in jail for the last 6 months.
What about it?
Multiple times he has approached the lower court and the high court to get bail, and for whatever reason the courts were convinced that he should not be given bail, and there are grounds that they have illustrated. Similarly, for Satyendra Jain, close to a year now he's been in jail.
Let me go back.
And the courts have found no material to give him bail, when the law of the land is that bail is the norm and jail is the exception. And Sanjay Singh is being accused in the same case as an accomplice. Not a different case, but the same case.
No, again, not an accused. Not an accused. Circumstantial evidence do not become evidence enough to be arresting somebody, firstly. Secondly, CBI also had put his name there and had withdrawn his name, saying that it came by mistake. So my only point here is, even when Sanjay Raoji was put behind bars, PMLA courts are so stringent in giving bail. PMLA Act itself is so stringent. Yesterday itself, the Enforcement Directorate was pulled up by the Supreme Court, saying that without evidence, without reasons, you cannot be picking up on people just because you have the power to do so.
Yeah.
So the point is just this, and before Mr. Sanjay Raut got the bail, he had approached the court twice. But what is the final bail outcomes? Calling him an innocent man who was dragged by the Enforcement Directorate because of political vendetta.
Okay, let me ask Abhinandita
Mathur. The process has become the punishment as far as the BJP is concerned, and that is what is shameful.
I want to quote for the benefit of our viewers what the court said while rejecting Manish Sisodia's bail plea. This, I believe, was in July of 2023. The court said, and I quote, "Role of third parties in finalizing policy raises red flags. Witnesses show the role of outsiders in drafting the policy. Evidence indicates that the policy was framed in an opaque manner. Sisodia is unable to pass the triple test for bail under PMLA." In this same case, the ED's contention is that the conduit between Manish Sisodia and Dinesh Arora was Mr. Sanjay Singh. And the court has found merit in the prosecution's argument to deny Mr. Sisodia bail on more than one occasion. Why should Mr. Sanjay Singh not be a person of interest, not be a suspect? Abhinandita Mathur.
Thanks, Saga. Yeah, thanks. First of all, if anybody is being named in a case that is still under investigation, I don't know what calls for an arrest. And I think this is clearly, and anybody who follows, legal procedures or legal cases understands that this is very unusual. This does not happen at all, and it is clearly vendetta. The reason why we also strongly believe that it is vendetta is that despite, all the efforts that the BJP puts in going after, young students, going after journalists, going after satirists, going after any opposition voice, and a voice as strong as Sanjay Singh ji, the way he speaks in the parliament as well as on the streets. So there is obviously some sort of paranoia or frustration in the sense that they are not able to, BJP, Modi ji are not able to deliver on the promises and the jumlas that they made, which is why now, as elections come closer, in that paranoia, they want to set an example. They want to tell the other people who raise their voice that, look, if you are not going to join us, we are going to put you in jail. But if you will join us, if you please, then very easily we are going to forget the allegations that we make about you and will actually put you in our cabinet, as Ms. Chaturvedi was saying earlier. So it is very clear to the people of this country today that there is a very very selective vendetta that is happening. आज अगर संजय सिंह और मनीष सिसोदिया जी बीजेपी का हाथ थाम लें, बीजेपी को ज्वाइन कर लें, मोदी जी की वाह करने लगे, then there is no surprise that tomorrow they will be rewarded. And if you continue to be on the side of India, if you continue to be, yes,
the case that you are referring to of journalists, of farmers, of students has nothing to do with corruption. In the case of your party leaders, Manish Sisodia, Satyendra Jain and now Sanjay Singh, what the ED is claiming is direct allegations of corruption. You can't equate one with the other.
Well, these are allegations, right? I mean, they will put certain other allegations which are contextual to that that group that they might be targeting. So, obviously, they've made a very selective, they've fabricated a case. They've fabricated a case that is well scripted. They've also fabricated a case where they are engaging, ED, which obviously everybody knows that in PMLU cases and in ED cases, and as the Supreme Court, observed yesterday, it's very hard to get bail. It's very hard to find the evidence, and there has to be a proper procedure before you actually, what else to say, but phasao any other, any opposition leaders. So there is clear, all that is very clear. I understand what you're saying, and to that I say that, okay, this is contextual. We are the government in power, so they, picked that on us. Also because that was our brand, and because they think that it's going to stick with us. But one thing the BJP is missing out, that every time the country is going to hear the word education, they will remember Manish Sisodia ji, they will remember Aam Aadmi Party, they will remember Arvind Kejriwal.
Okay.
And every time
that's a political point, but let me move on from the politics of it. Yeah, give me a moment. Aman Lekhi's also been waiting patiently. How do you square, Mr. Lekhi, what the Supreme Court said just yesterday in an order, albeit in a separate case, but involving the Enforcement Directorate, where it said that the Enforcement Directorate cannot be vindictive, that it has to give the grounds of arrest in writing to the accused whenever it happens. You have to be transparent and fair in your function, and mere non-cooperation by accused persons cannot be grounds enough for arrest. This is what the Supreme Court said in an order yesterday, and today Sanjay Singh has been arrested. The Aam Aadmi Party is saying this flies in the face of what the Supreme Court said.
Well, Zaka, I'll stay clear of all this bombast and hyperbole of all these politicians on the panel. And before I answer, I think Ms. Chaturvedi was both incorrect and uncharitable in her rather incoherent and rather long discursive address, wherein she described me as some BJP member. I am not here as a BJP member. She should get the facts right. I am not a member of the BJP. I am a lawyer. So instead of indulging in empty rhetoric, they should talk facts and talk sense. Now, coming to the question which you put to me, what the Supreme Court said is absolutely correct. As far as the obligation to give the grounds of arrest is concerned, that is statutorily mandated. Insofar as fairness is concerned, fairness is writ into the law, and as far as the investigating agency is concerned, it cannot possibly be or seen to be under lock and key of the political establishment. Now, talking about the case in question, there has been an unreasonable focus only on the approver. And I'm here talking as a lawyer because everyone has been rambling a lot in a very uninitiated way where legal aspects are concerned. What I want to bring into sharper focus is the fact that when a charge sheet is filed, the charge sheet is the opinion investigating officer. The opinion investigating officer making out a case. A case is of conspiracy. Now, there's a charge sheet and there's a supplementary charge sheet in a case where conspiracy is the substratum of the allegations. Now, substratum of the allegations with the principal conspirators already there. As far as Sanjay Singh is concerned, is a link. Now, link is necessary for establishing the conspiracy. If a link is necessary for establishing a conspiracy and the conspirator is identified, it is obligatory for the investigating agency to explain why in the first instance of the person being arrested now not arrested earlier. Because the person is not arrested earlier, there are two things which arise. One, the opinion the investigating agency formed for the purpose of arresting the person who was arrested earlier was incomplete as to make that arrest wrong, or the information on which it relies now is something which was prevalent then but was not considered serious enough to effect arrest. In either case, it's a double whammy for the prosecution, because either the arrest of Sisodia is wrong or the arrest of Sanjay Singh is wrong. And it is here that what the Supreme Court says becomes very pertinent. When you are dealing with these cases, whether you are dealing with journalists, as in the case of the UAPA, or you are dealing with politicians, in a politically surcharged atmosphere where democratic credentials are basically under close scrutiny, it is necessary that when you invoke the law for the purposes of imposing the sanctions of the law on a political participant, you have to be actually wary that the move should not be seen to be what word which all of you have been very repeatedly using, vindictive, because that robs the process of legitimacy. Now, as far as criminal prosecution is concerned, the only efficacy a criminal prosecution can have is the perception of its being legitimate. Now, if the general assumption is that insofar as the legal provisions are used, they are weaponized for the purposes of a political output, in that event that discredits the process itself and tarnishes the whole exercise. And this is precisely what is happening over here. My objection here is not so much to the arrest of a person. What I am saying is the procedure which is responsible for the arrest, because it seems a very peculiar case to me and something which is really odd, that if the investigating agency is seized of a matter and is proceeding for the purpose of unearthing the conspiracy, to have the conspirators over there, how could it have overlooked a person who was actually material to establish a link of the conspiracy?
No,
can
I also ask you, just a point of clarification before I go back to the other guest. If you're saying that he is the link in the conspiracy, and it's entirely possible that he is, because as per Dinesh Arora's statement, he was the one who was present and facilitated the meeting with Manish Sisodia. But if he was a link in the conspiracy, then he should have also been named as one of the co-conspirators. He was not named.
That is exactly what I said. You see, that is what I said, Zaka. You see, a charge sheet has to be complete. That is, the opinion has to be final. What is a charge sheet is actually the opinion of the investigating officer. Now, the law is that when you form an opinion, you should be sure of the case. And the case should be complete. There should be a finality to it. What this suggests is that the case that was filed earlier was not final. If the case is filed earlier is not final, that means the charge sheet was actually incomplete. If the charge sheet is incomplete, as far as the arrest is concerned, the arrest becomes vitiated. But if the charge sheet was complete, and as far as this particular material is concerned was available, in that event, they have to explain why there was no arrest. Because they cannot possibly say that the material was there.
But they didn't go for arrest for whatever inexplicable reason that they didn't. Yeah. Fair enough. I think that's a fair point. So Shehzad, no, please respond, because it's not just Sanjay Singh's case. Sanjay Singh was not named, has not been named in either of the charge sheets. Even in the case of Manish Sisodia, who is one of the prime accused in this case supposedly, he was not named in the initial charge sheet. He was named subsequently in the supplementary charge sheet, right? And if, as Aman Lekhi said, and he's right, and you know this is a lawyer, Shehzad, that if you're saying that 5 people were involved in a conspiracy and there was person 6 who was the link between those 5 people, how can that person 6 not be part of the same conspiracy? How can he not be charged with 120B? How is he not named in the charge sheet? How is he named? How is he being arrested 6 months after the first charge sheet was filed?
Okay. Now let me answer first Amanji's point and then the remaining political points. First of all, Zaka, Manish Sisodia was very well named as accused number 1 in the FIR. In the original FIR, he was named as accused number 1. Yes, once the FIR was filed, after that the investigation started. Arrests started getting made, and in the consequence of an investigation, when the agencies had everything to put together, they have named him in the charge sheet. This is absolutely, there is nothing illegal in this. Secondly, I agree, in a sense, what Mr. Aman Lekhi is saying is one way of looking at it. But Mr. Aman Lekhi will concede, even though I have no stature in front of him when it comes to law, but he will concede that in the course of an investigation, when there is some additional material that has come to the fore, he can accuse that why wasn't this done 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So that means the agency is not being vindictive. The agency is being extra cautious because the person concerned is an MP after all. So you cross all the T's, you dot all the I's, and then you go for the arrest or you take the legal proceeding only when you have all the elements in place. And in this case, it is possible, and the ED will come out with the complete categorical statement. It is not for me as a political party statement spokesperson to come and tell you what exact basis the ED has done this action on. I can't say that because they have not come out with a statement. I am only going to be knowing that statement when it comes out in the public domain. So it is entirely possible that in the consequence of what has been disclosed by the approver, They have got more evidence, they have gone and interrogated, and in whatever has pursued, they felt that the arrest was required. But I have 2 or 3 questions that I need to ask, and I'll put them very quickly. Priyanka ji said that Sanjay Raut got bail after so and so. So she acknowledges that the courts of this country are functioning in a perfect manner. So then, in last 7-8 months, why is it that Manish Sisodia has gone right up to the highest courts and Abhishek Singhvi has been arguing for him? Secondly, no member of the NDA was invited for this discussion, but Congress party was, and it has declined all debates on this issue. Please note, Zaka, yours is not the only show where they are missing. Maybe Priyanka ji is not aware because she must be busy with the parliamentary work, but she should know that in all the debates, Congress was invited and they have affirmatively declined. This is because all through they have continued, and even today, usually they take a stand for everybody, that देखो क्या बुरा हो रहा है इसके साथ, देखो क्या हो गया बच्चे के साथ, देखो 14 लोगों के साथ क्या हो गया, देखो मीडिया के साथ क्या हो गया. They have not even tweeted one line. So this means they acknowledge that this has happened. Thirdly, to Madam Mathur, who's from Aam Aadmi Party, she said this is all in this realm of allegation. चलिए agree करते हैं. Madam Mathur, Lalu ji has been convicted 4 times. Does Aam Aadmi Party consider him to be convicted corrupt? And he was convicted first time during Congress regime, during UPA regime. Do you consider as Aam Aadmi Party that Lalu is a convicted criminal? Yes or no?
Okay, let me ask Priyanka Chaturvedi first, because ma'am, you said now, time and time again, you quoted from the bail order of Mr. Raut. But may I remind everyone on this panel and our viewers, Mr. Raut is still an accused. No court of law has acquitted Mr. Raut. Whatever observations the court had to make was part of a bail order. And until he is acquitted by a court of law, he continues to be an accused. And to the question that Shehzad asked, which I think is a fair question to ask, Manish Sisodia is not a small fry. He was the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi. On multiple courts have found prima facie material which convinced them not to grant him bail, then the charges must be serious.
So, step 1, you asked me, he is an accused. Right, accused because it's a political vendetta. The bail order itself says a civil court issue has been made into a criminal case and has been arrested. So it's a very open and shut bail order. However, he will fight this through, and he will be acquitted sooner than you think, Zaka. The second part about your point, Mr. Sisodia not getting bail, etc. I'm not even, in my initial statements itself, I had said that the process in the case of PMLA is the punishment. And PMLA has been weaponized by the Bharatiya Janata Party. While of course they accuse the Congress of bringing PMLA, introducing it, they have made it more stringent ever since the BJP has come, and they're using it against the opposition. I've already given you the numbers: 4-fold increase in ED investigation, and 95% targets are the opposition members, opposition leaders. Out of which, what's the conviction rate, if you can tell me? It's less than 3%. So what is clearly obvious and is as clear as daylight is that these are political vendettas being carried out. Now coming to the case of Sanjay Singh. Sanjay Singh, is there any money trail which is established? It is someone coming and saying, who's become an approver, who says in front of the magistrate that he was sitting with me in a meeting with X person, he was sitting with me with a meeting with Y person. So your conjectures have led you to an arrest? So my question is very plain and simple. That Enforcement Directorate cannot become an agency of the Bharatiya Janata Party or the party which is in power.
Okay.
It has to be working without fear and without any kind of favor. And that is what is not happening. And that is why the India Alliance also has been speaking up. You look at every particular state where BJP is not in government, and they are going after those states. And those agencies are used to pull down governments. The state government of Maharashtra was pulled down like this. And I can tell you 30 of those 43 people who have left the party, or 40 odd people who have left the party, had criminal cases against them, had EDIT, CBI after them. And what happened to those cases? So I continue to repeat, this is not whataboutery. This is as clear as daylight that opposition is being targeted, they are being vindictive,
okay,
and they are trying to silence the voices. 40 journalists being raided yesterday, those who are even opinion contributors to NewsClick, what does it speak?
No, so again, I want to draw the distinction. I want to draw the distinction that case of corruption which is being made out against Sanjay Singh, Manish Sisodia, etc., cannot be compared to a case of what is being alleged against the journalist. But anyway, I want to
I'm
ask,
only making the
I want to
point of
ask
silencing the
Abhinandita.
opposition and silencing those
got it.
voices
Got
which
it.
ask tough questions
Let me
of the
ask.
government.
Yeah, let me ask Abhinandita Mathur.
Thank you.
You are saying, you know, BJP is using ED, CBI, IT, etc., you know, for political vendetta, so on and so forth. But when agencies under your governments are using this against your political opponents, somehow that is kosher. Congress MLA Sukhpal Khera was arrested recently, just last week, in a 2015 drugs case. Vigilance Bureau in Punjab arrested the former Deputy Chief Minister OP Soni in a DA case. Vigilance Bureau arrested ex-minister Sanjay Singh also in a DA case. Surendra Arora, who is an ex-minister of the Congress, again arrested by the Vigilance Bureau. So when Aam Aadmi Party uses agencies under your government in Delhi or in Punjab, that's kosher. But when BJP uses it against its political opponents, that's not kosher.
Okay, good you brought this up. And you said this yourself, that some of these cases are actually framed as early as 2015 and even earlier. Look, I've spent enough time in Punjab to tell you that the drug situation in Punjab was so bad that anybody who is even remotely responsible for it must be punished, and must be punished very, very, very severely. I don't think that these two comparisons hold, because here is an ED, here is an agency that is, as we speak, framing charges, whereas the agency is taking, cognizance of or acting upon, a case that has been long pending. And I don't think in that sense the two cases match at all. The other thing is there are so many other, in many other states where there are non-BJP governments. The Supreme Court has also noticed, has also observed, and very specifically, very clearly, spelled out that it is for everybody to see that, why is this selective, approach towards certain states or certain governments. So there is no, it's not about whataboutery in that sense, ki isko arrest kiya, par usko arrest kiya. Sometimes if, and our Chief Minister has said it several times, that if anybody in the Aam Aadmi Party is actually found to be guilty, we will be more happy to, surrender. Okay. If they are found to be guilty. But at the same time, there is obviously a difference between vendetta. I mean, look at Sanjay Singh being arrested and anybody being accused who was misusing power in Punjab being arrested are absolutely two different things. It would be, I think, a great disservice to
while I agree that a drugs case cannot be compared to a corruption case, Mr. Khera was also arrested at 6 a.m. in the morning by the Punjab police in Chandigarh, when they should have informed the Chandigarh police, and it's the Chandigarh police that should have done the arrest. But anyway, leave it at that. I'm completely out of time. Thank you very much to all our guests.